Welcome back to Stepping Out of Confusion. Today, I want to share with you something pretty big that I've become aware of through my studies, and the word of adoption has been placed on my conscience about a couple things. You know, my wife and I, we've got this big farm, and we've got a pretty decent sized house, and we always talk about wanting to adopt other people, other children. And as of right now, I can't do it legally because I'm a convicted felon, and they frown upon that. So that's a man's law, which I understand. You know, there's got to be boundaries. There's got to be laws because people do things that are not in accordance with the good. Now, the other side of adoption is something that I've been adopted, and I voluntarily became adopted by Jesus by giving him my heart and giving him me. And what I've learned inside of this adoption is that for any of you who've looked into adoption or have adopted or were adopted, you're under the care of somebody new, and you know, in the full scheme of things, you know, that's under somebody who wants you and somebody who wants to take care of you and provide. And that's what the Lord does for you, or for those like me that have become adopted by God, the Creator. And people put so many titles to God, you know, the Creator, for people in the non-Christian world. But either way, under Jesus' teachings, when you surrender your heart to him, you become adopted into his kingdom. And you also get the inheritance because you're one of his children. And the inheritance is eternity. That's his promise. Now, if you stop and ponder about that, what that might look like, if God owns the universe, which is something that's so much beyond what our little brains can even muster up to, I don't know, think about, realize, ponder on, and you're an heir to the universe and all the things in it. And he treats you like a king. He puts you right there with Jesus. You're not higher, you're not lower, you are the same. Now, for those of you that are listening that haven't surrendered to Jesus, I invite you to look at that. Because just like if you were given up for adoption, somebody couldn't take care of you. And that happens. You know, the world is influenced by things that there's not enough time to talk about. But the things that influence you to allow you to become adopted by the Creator of the universe, by God himself, is part of your free will. Just like I'm grateful that your time is being spent with me right now, and it's not about me, it's about what I'm hoping to bring to you. I know I've learned that relatability to people helps people, you know, sit there for 10 to 15 minutes and hear me talk. So this relatability in this subject of adoption is difficult because most people haven't been adopted. Most people don't look at surrendering your heart to Christ as becoming adopted. It's not, unfortunately, talked about much, at least all the churches I've been to. But a couple of the ones that I'm listening to now, I mean, it's a pretty loud message that becoming adopted in God's world and becoming heir to his kingdom and all the things inside of it is pretty huge. The point of the matter is that the surrender of yourself to the Lord allows you to see things that you won't be able to see unless you do. And he's not going to show them to you until you surrender. And if you're not surrendering to him, he might not give you much discipline. But once you do surrender to him and become one of his children, you will have discipline. And with discipline creates obeying. And with obeying, you get more knowledge and more insight into this beautiful world that's been created by God. So I hope you realize that if you give yourself up for adoption to God, and you let him take you under his wing, that you're going to get some punishment, and you're going to get some discipline. But he disciplines those who are his children. Just like your earthly father disciplined you when you were wrong and bad. And if he did it right, you thanked him later down the road, or maybe even a couple of days later. But the point is that it is a give and take. And you actually have to give first. Well, actually God gave first. You're here. And you've got all this around you. You know, I can imagine all these pews behind me filled with people that are just like me. But it also is filled with a bunch of people who aren't. And I'm hoping to talk to both people so they can see that entering in this realm of this family, it's a family. It's not a community like we are brothers and sisters. That you're going to get discipline, but you're also going to get an inheritance that's bigger than you could ever imagine. And one last thing I want to touch on is when you read the Word of God, try to look past the message. The biggest example I have of that is the universe. We have this little tiny planet, like little tiny planet, in this vast array of space and time, and just like that's the vastness of God. But you're not going to get there, in my belief, until you get to him. And then he opens the door and allows you to see something that is bigger than we can imagine. That's the inheritance. So look and see if you want to become adopted into that and surrender. Be ready for some discipline. It definitely has the look of suffering and pain. But you're going to get that anyway, regardless if you give your heart or not. So to have him comfort you when you need him is way better. I can verify that. So, if you got any confusion about this, send me an email. I do have an email. It's SOOCWJ. Stepping Out of Confusion with Jesus at Gmail. I invite you to send me a question or send me a comment. Send me something you're reading so I can send you something I'm reading. Or just give me a comment on below. But I thank you. My family thanks you. And we'll talk to you soon.